Hello to my most wonderful and beautiful subscribers. Thank you so much for helping me get to 2k subscribers. It's a massive big deal. I've been making videos on YouTube for a few years now, and I do like to plough my own furrow and do my own thing, so having people who enjoy my content is really special to me. Because realistically, I make the kind of videos that I actually want to watch on YouTube, and because there's so few people who make videos in the same kind of style and about the same kind of sense that I am interested in, and it tends to be, for most people obviously and understandably, it tends to be more designer, more popular, more niche, more expensive, and more kind of trending stuff. So when I started watching YouTube myself, I was really excited to find people who talked about a wide range. Sarah Mays was one of the first people I was watching, and then when I saw Ruth Ann McKinnon's videos, I was like, what I really aimed for is to be like Ruth Ann McKinnon, although I will never get through perfumes at the speed she does because she's an absolute master at using up her perfumes. But I wanted to be like a British equivalent, because there are quite often perfumes that I see awesome American YouTubers talking about that you can't really get here. And of course, there's also perfumes you can get in the UK that you can't get outside. And sometimes things you can get on both sides of the world, you know, there's such a difference in the price. Like, occasionally there's stuff that I can get for a tenner that I know people in the US are going to have to pay about $35 for. So I thought it would be really nice to be able to do faceless perfume videos where you're just focusing on more affordable, most of the time, perfumes, and you were looking at the bottles and not someone's face. So from like a personal point of view, as much as I like seeing people's faces, sometimes I find that distracting from what I'm actually watching. I really like seeing bottles. I love bottles, and I just got kind of obsessed with perfume. So I thought, I'm going to try and do my own little version of what I want to see. I also quite like long form videos, so I know that probably there's people who watch me who only watch little bits of my videos, and that's fine. And there might be others like me who like to just, even if it's on in the background, I watch YouTube every morning when I get up, and I always hope that there's some videos on there that I can chuck on while I'm doing my makeup and getting dressed to go to work, getting ready, getting all my stuff together. It's just my favourite thing for like when I'm getting up in the morning or when I'm just chilling out and, you know, I'm not doing other things. I really just like watching people talk about perfumes. So this is my Q&A. These are the questions. I'll just read them out, the ones that have been left on the community tab of my channel. I'm not going to read out people's names because I didn't double check if that was okay with people, but you know who you are. If anyone wants to look at the comments and actually read them, they're on my community tab. So I'm going to start off with, let's have a look. Thank you to everyone just overall for sending such lovely messages. Thank you for letting me know how much you like my videos. Also, like in the past, thanks for people who say they help them go to sleep, because I totally get that. I really do. The reason I don't put music or have like a special kind of beginning or end to my videos and I just start talking is because I find it very jarring if I'm resting for it to suddenly come up with music at either the beginning or the end, and often the volume is so different on the two that I very specifically don't like to have any of that on my videos. I'm just going to talk and hope that the volume doesn't jump around too much, and then if people use them to go to sleep, then hopefully there won't be anything that wakes them up. So like I said, I just make videos that I want I want to watch. What do you do with your empty bottles if you have any? So I rarely have empty bottles. I have one almost empty bottle and one empty bottle. I'm keeping them at the moment. I'm just keeping them in a box with... So I have, like, you know those Kallax units, the IKEA units? I have those which I store clothes and other things in, but I also store my perfumes in those cubes. And I have a couple of I can't even remember what they're called, but the little boxes that go in and out of those cubes, made to go in them, the fabric ones. So I have one of those that's basically samples, body sprays, and boxes of perfumes that I don't know if I want to keep yet or I haven't reviewed yet. So that is where one of my empties is. The other empty that's almost empty is next to my bed. And that I'll just keep those there for a while. Let's see, what's the next one? Do I keep the nice ones? I'm never going to keep bottles that are empty, because I definitely have the mindset of a collector. I love collecting things, but I am only interested in collecting things that I can actually use. So I don't have any collections of anything that's decorative that isn't in some way useful to me. So I'm not interested in having anything that I just look at, if you see what I mean. So the only bottle I have it's almost empty but not quite is my La Belle Storici, which is my old signature scent that you cannot buy anymore. It's impossible to find. They discontinued it many years ago. So I keep that one for the scent. I mean, it's still wearable, to be honest. I wore it at the registry office part of my wedding. So I can still wear that. It's amazing. But I keep that one just so I can smell it. But empty bottles, especially ones I can replace, I just don't have space. If I had loads of space, then maybe I would have like a more decorative life. But I live in London and I'm not rich, so I don't have loads of space. Okay. What's the strangest comment you got wearing a fragrance? To be honest, I don't think I've ever had any particularly strange comments. Normally the strange comments come from myself, like if I try something on and I think it smells like antiseptic, or when I've tried things that I think smell like fish. Yeah, I don't think my husband has a very kind heart, and he does not like to be insulting. So even if he didn't like the way I smelt, he just wouldn't tell me unless I specifically asked. I am also sure, though, having said that, I'm sure my mum has dissed me. I've probably had so many mum burns, but I don't really pay any attention. She just doesn't like perfume, so she has an attitude about any kind of strong smells. So, I mean, I know I've said something before about, like, having a new perfume. She'll maybe say something like, yeah, I can smell it, in a really kind of slightly snarky way. I love my mum, but she is an absolute queen of snark. So, yeah, I don't really have an example of anything strange for that. Unless I've forgotten it, which is possible. I am 42. What's my favourite natural smell? Like in nature, object or places. Ooh, that's tricky. Oh, that's really tricky. I mean, I do quite enjoy the smell of fresh cut citruses and freshly cut grass. I quite like. I really love cooking smells, and unlike other like more famous, like, oh, people love the smell of cookies, I like the smell of savoury food cooking, savoury food that I like anyway. What else? I mean, definitely flowers and stuff. I'm just trying to think of specifics. I find it, because I'm so fussy and I'm quite sensitive to smells, it's kind of easier to tell you all the stuff I don't like. Okay. Do you like cooking? And am I sensitive to food smells? I am very sensitive to food smells if I don't like them. And I love cooking. So let's see, the thing I'm most sensitive to, well, firstly, the smell of the bin. I can't deal with bin smells. So my husband is in charge of the bins purely because it makes me feel sick. So any kind of garbagey smells, like old food smells, can't deal with that. I don't like oily fish, and I really don't like fishy smells. So I've kind of trained myself to eat some seafood, but I'm not really a seafoody person generally. I kind of like, I don't know, like prawns and scallops and the stuff that doesn't smell too fishy. But if my husband has like sardines or something, I'm like, you cannot leave any trace of that in the kitchen. I do not want to smell oily fish smells, so I'm super sensitive to that. I love food and I love cooking. I'm from a family of foodie people, really. Both of my parents have for a very long time worked in the food industry in different ways, and we've always really enjoyed food. So yeah, and I love cooking. I go through phases, but for instance today I literally just made a grapefruit carrot cake. Just kind of randomly did it because I had some carrots to use up and I had a grapefruit I didn't know what to do with, so I just made a cake. Although I much prefer making savoury food, you know. What do I love making? I love making a roast dinner. And that's one of my favourite smells in the world, genuinely. The smell of a roast dinner cooking is one of my absolute favourite smells. Oh, yeah, savoury food smells. I love it. I smell of bacon cooking as well. If you were a flower, what would you be and why? Are we talking looks or smell, you know? If it was smell, that's really tricky. My instinct is to say Mexican orange blossom because that's the thing I look forward to most in spring in London, is the little bushes with the Mexican orange blossom, because my goodness, the smell of that. It's like this weird honeyed spring white flower smell. It's so sweet and slightly syrupy, but it doesn't really smell like actual orange blossom, which is not at all one of my favourite smells. So if it was like memories and the way things look, then it would be snowdrops. And the reason for that is my parents used to have, I mean, they still live in the same house to be honest, but they used to have a big tree, a huge beautiful tree out in the front garden. It's not like a massive front garden or anything, but it was a beautiful tree. And I loved that tree, but the roots started to grow into the foundations of the house, so they had to get it cut down and taken away, and then it was all paved over. And honest, so broken-hearted, I can't even tell you how sad. I think they might have had to do that when I was at university, so I literally came home and my tree was gone. But around the base of that tree, there were little snowdrops that used to pop up. I can't even remember what time of year it was, but I used to really enjoy waiting for them to come up and watching them grow. And they're just such beautiful flowers. They're a bit melancholy, so they don't in any way suit my personality because I'm not a melancholy person at all. But yeah, just purely from the memories of those growing around that tree, that's probably what I would go for. Although realistically, I probably wouldn't be a flower. I'd be like an apple tree or something with delicious. My mum and dad have a little, two little apple trees in the back garden. One is I think it's the cooking apples. Are they Cox or Brown? I can't remember. But they have a cooking apple tree, and then they have one that's called Discovery apples, and they are such a heavenly perfumed apple. The scent of those apples, I mean, they're delicious. They're a texture unlike any other apples I've had, but the smell of them, they actually smell like apple perfume. They're so beautiful. That is what I would be rather than a flower. Okay. My oldest scent memory, fragrance or other scent? Well, Nivea cream is my oldest general kind of scent memory because my mum and dad were using that on me when I was a tiny, tiny child, and I still use it to this day. It's my face cream. I've almost been wearing in some way and in some part of my body Nivea cream for my entire life. So yeah, that's the blue, the blue Nivea. So that's such a familiar and comforting smell to me. I just love that. I love it. And I don't really have, I guess I'd have to say like the Body Shop perfume oils are my first kind of perfume memories, because my mum never wore perfume. She doesn't like perfume, so I don't remember her having like a specific scent outside of just smelling like my mum, which is more of a laundry, kind of like fairy non-bio kind of smell, and comfort sensitive. So even then, not strong scents even in our laundry. Yeah, it would have been like Ananya, and I think there was one called Japanese Musk, and I can't remember all of them, but I also have a real specific memory of a perfume from there called Tobacco Flower, but I think that was later on. Ooh, my phone's gone to sleep. I shall have to reawaken it. Okay, where did I get to? Do I have any other collections beside fragrances? Yes, I do. We're going to have to do a jump cut because I will show you. So I have quite a few pairs of glasses. I don't actually wear glasses all the time, but anything that's like handy in any way, I will always have lots of. So generally speaking, this is actually my favourite shape. So this is the black pair. I have a pair that I've got lots of different colours of these same ones. And then I have like sunglasses. So if I wanted to drive, for instance, I've got prescription sunglasses. So yeah, that'll, I might show you. I'm just going to pop open some so you can see. Again, like some of them are different styles. Some of them, is this one even got anything in it? Oh, they're good. That's a good pair. They're good ones. As you can see, I'm even a bargain hunter. Goggles for you. Excellent. So that's one. We'll have another cut now. And we're back. So I do have, from back in the day, I've got some Christian Dior jewellery. which I just would never buy this kind of thing anymore, but I do still have them. I've got some Swarovskis. I've got just some random stuff. You can see some little baby perfumes here as well, some of my miniatures. So I do like jewellery, some more of the fun stuff. There's, oh, Prince, what a genius. So I've got some silly stuff in there as well. Okay, and then we'll move on to clothes. Guys, I've got a lot of clothes. I've got a whole wardrobe that is coats and jackets, and then I have a lot of dresses. Again, I don't have quite as many as I used to, but you can see, oh, that's a Selkie, beautiful. I do quite like a pattern in a dress. I've kind of, oh, these are Anna Schultz. Oh my goodness. I still have quite a good collection of Anna Schultz dresses. Some of the most beautiful silk dresses. Oh, I wore this one, not this one, this one. That was my first date with my husband. I wore that one. He loved it. So then, like, yeah, I have a lot of clothes, as you can see, and I have not so many trainers anymore. I've kind of chilled out on the whole trainer thing, but let's have a look. So yeah, I've also chilled out on shoes way more, and then jeans. I've got lots of jeans, obviously, but I've got loads of clothes, loads. I've probably got 100 dresses. So yeah, I am a collector at heart, and this is kind of more my workwear. So there's a lot of shirts, and I've got a lot of trousers, different colours. I don't wear so many patterns as I used to. I've kind of chilled out on that. Oh, my sexy flips are so important. I can't get enough. They don't make these anymore, but I live in these in summer. These are Crocs sexy flips. They're just, I'm so sad that they stopped making those. Anyway, we'll jump cut back to another question. Okay, we've got next question, and I know a lot of people want to know this. What sort of job do you do? Just curious. So I knew this question would come up, and so what I did was I did a little bit of Google searching, very basic Google searching with my name and my job title, or my name and the general area that I work in, and you can easily find me on the internet. That's the thing. So I'm not going to tell you specifics because I do want to continue to be kind of anonymous, and although I'm sure all my lovely subscribers are wonderful and perfect and would never like do anything weird, obviously the internet can be a slightly scary place and a bit of a weird space, so I don't necessarily want to make it easy to find me. So I will say I work in a creative capacity, and I work in the arts and heritage sector. So yeah, I mean, basically I have a wonderful, very special, amazing job, and I've been working in the same kind of industry for 18 years now. So yeah, I have I would consider my job to be a very enviable one, and I'm extremely lucky to be working in. Anyone who gets to be creative on the daily basis is incredibly lucky, I would say. So yeah, that's all I can say about that, really, guys, to be honest, because yeah, just for just for my own peace of mind, I don't want to make it too easy to find me. So what else have we got? Do you display a lot of your perfumes either in your bedroom or somewhere else? Yes, I do. And so I was thinking about this the other day because I was watching Claire Smith's video about perfume trays, and how they help you to use your collection. And I don't do perfume trays because, to be honest, my mood swings so violently sometimes throughout the month, especially like when my cycle is at certain points, that I will feel confined if I have to choose like a small group of perfumes to wear. But the way that my perfumes are set out, and the only reason I'm not showing you now is because I am planning to do a proper video on my perfume display. Like I said, in my Calex units, I have my perfumes out on the little kind of plastic step things, and what I've done is they're divided into like very summery light perfumes is in one cube, and then I've got a cube that this actually changed recently, and it changed because of a lovely summer and eau duel. So I used to have like florals, winter, I had like a vanilla, caramel, tonka, that kind of section, and then I had a kind of easy reach section. But I realise so many of my easy reaches are musks, but some of them are musks that I can only wear in winter, and some are musks that are perfect for summer. So I was like, oh god. So I've changed it, and now I've got a summer perfume bit, so with all my colognes, that kind of thing. And then I have a musk Calyx cube, and I have a easy reach cube that includes winter and summer. That's just kind of, if I don't know what else to wear, I know that I'm going to love what's on there, you know, stuff that I never reach for and think, oh, I shouldn't have worn that. And then I still have like a floral one, but now it has some very summery, some slightly wintry, and a lot of spring ones. And then I have one that is more winter appropriate, that has some of it is floral, some of it is woody, you know, so I've had to kind of change it up a little bit. But that kind of works like a tray for me, because if I know that I'm in the mood to wear something musky, then I know that I've got my favourite musky bottles there. But to be honest, also, I use Fragrantica. I've got most of my perfumes, anything that they actually have on there, I have listed in my Fragrantica. So when I'm getting up in the morning, I tend to look at Fragrantica, and I will match what I'm wearing to my outfit and my mood. So, okay, next. What would your dream vacation be? Do you know, I wonder about this nowadays, because many years ago I did used to travel quite a lot. I would go away as much as I possibly could. I've been to many places in Europe. I've been to America. I've been to New Zealand. I've been to Cape Verde, which is technically Africa, but I've never actually been to the continent, if you see what I mean, the continent of Africa. I've never been. Where do I really want to go that I've never been? So I have two different answers to this. One is the realistic answer, which is that now that I'm older, what I want to do when I'm on holiday is relax. So I don't want to go somewhere where I'm travelling and walking around everywhere, because I have I've got it's an hour commute into work, an hour commute back. I'm generally out of the house for like 10 hours. So when I have like my weekends, I want to relax. I don't really necessarily want to do loads of exploring. I used to, but now that I'm older, I don't have the same desire to do that. So I'd rather go like almost to the UK, or to somewhere that's just a beautiful beach. I mean, I'm not a massive sunbather, but yeah, just to relax. I love being in water, so anywhere there's water. So my realistic answer is generally somewhere in the UK with either a pool or a hot tub, or both. I particularly love St Ives in Cornwall, some of the most beautiful beaches I've ever been to, but it's quite a long way to get to from London. But if money wasn't an option, then a really nice Airbnb in St Ives, I'd be very happy with that. That's my kind of thing, like being able to be out in beautiful greenery, anything that's slightly foresty, anything that has somewhere that I can swim or relax in water. I'm very happy. Now, if money was not an issue, I would like to go to, and I mean like the most expensive version of this trip, with entirely like tour-led stuff. I don't want to get lost anywhere. I want to go to Egypt. Oh my goodness, how much would I love to see the pyramids? So that would be really high on my list. I would love to go, because I love history, so I would love to go. I've been to Athens, but I'd like to explore Greece more. I'd really like to go to see anything Aztec-y, anything like that. That would be fabulous. But that's not financially a position that we're in to do that kind of thing, and if we did, we'd have to do it on the cheap. And if I went somewhere, you know, I'd really want to do it top-notch style. So anyway, that's that one. Okay, let's see, what does fusspot mean? I guess, is that a British term? I guess it just means someone who's fussy. Like, you'll be like, if you try to give food to a kid, and they don't want to eat their peas or whatever, then you'd be like, stop being such a fusspot, just eat your peas. So yeah, fusspot, it just means that I'm quite fussy, which is crazy, because I've got including the ones that I'm planning to get rid of, I've got like 300 and something perfumes, but I am also compared to most people, I do seem to be quite fussy because I watch a lot of people and I know a lot of people who like a lot of perfumes and don't seem to be anywhere near as fussy as me. So that's why I called it Fuss Pot. And plus, I don't like mainly like really beast mode perfumes most of the time. Do I have any pets? No, I'm not really a pet person. I didn't. I don't. It sounds terrible. I don't really want to look after anything else. I'm quite happy to just look after myself. And also, to be honest, we live in a flat in London without a garden and I'm out of the house 10 hours a day. So it'd be cruel to have any animals. I'm not a cat person. I don't really like cats. So the only animal I'd really want is a dog. I did have a rabbit when I was little. We had guinea pigs and rabbits when I was a kid. And I've got a soft spot for rabbits. But again, like, I don't really want a rabbit running around my flat. All right. Do you read? And if so, favourite genre / authors? I'm not, to be honest, a massive reader. I've really been through phases of this in my life when I was younger. I'm slightly dyslexic and my mother taught me how to read in the end because my school couldn't work out how to teach me to read. And she taught me how to read by me memorising Roald Dahl books, Matilda being my favourite. So she read to me until I knew it off by heart. My dad did the same with The Hobbit. And yeah, so that's kind of how I learned to read through repetition. I also learned how to play music, which I do by ear because I've never been able to learn how to read music either. So there's obviously something in my brain that I'll be able to pick things up and hear it, and that's how I learn. So very soft spot for that. I used to love things like The Worst Witch. So my genre is definitely magical stuff. I like witches. I like wizards. I like Lord of the Rings. I like Harry Potter. In fact, I love Harry Potter. Harry Potter is one of those things that brought me back to reading when I was older. Because, you know, I read loads. I used to read point horror and things like that as well when I was younger. So I read all that. Are You There, God, It's Me, Margaret, all of those. And then I discovered boys. And I didn't want to read anymore because I just wanted to snog. So I didn't read again for ages. And then I think... maybe, when was it? Harry Potter, definitely. That was at university. I was at university when the first film came out and my sister gave me the audiobook and I love Stephen Fry. So when she gave me the audiobook of The Goblet of Fire, see, if I'd have started with The Chamber of Secrets, I don't know that I'd have loved it quite as much, but I started with The Goblet of Fire on audiobook and it, back in the day, this is how old I am, they were cassette tapes and it was only half of the book. Like, so it suddenly stopped halfway through and it said, like, this continues in part 2 or whatever. And I was like, oh my God. And so I couldn't afford to buy them. She got them free from work. So I had to go and buy the book because I had to know what happened next. And oh my God, if I really can't sleep and I'm going through any kind of period where I'm really stressed, I listen to Stephen Fry reading Harry Potter because I love him and I love those books. So... massively important to me. The other very important author to me is Terry Pratchett. He was very sadly my absolute king. I love the Discworld books. I particularly love the Witches, and I particularly love the Night's Watch. Oh my God, Vimes, so good. That's another one where if I had started reading Pratchett and the Discworld books with Rincewind at the beginning, I probably wouldn't have continued reading them, but I came in at a weird time. I went on a holiday to Cyprus with my sister and they were having a heat wave. It was like 45 degrees and it was so insanely hot when we didn't have air conditioning that I was like, I just need to get a book and just like cool down. I just need to read something because I'm bored, because we couldn't really do much. It was like, even the locals were like, you need to stay indoors in the aircon because you're going to get very ill if you're out in this heat. So I went and had a look and I just saw the drawing on Moving Pictures. It's the old artist, not the new one. Moving Pictures, I was like, that is such a weird, like, what is this? It looks so crazy. It didn't really look like it was aimed at women. It very much looked like a bloke had drawn it because there was a lot of like pert breasts and stuff in small outfits. But I read the synopsis and it's one that's about about it's like a kind of spoof on Hollywood, but set in Discworld, and it was so funny that then I started reading him, and I used to go to Oxfam and find all of the Terry Pratchett secondhand books for cheap until I had the whole collection. I'm just jumping in real quickly here because I was talking about books, which I, to be fair, was talking about for ages, where I tend to. And when I was talking about, I was listening back to the bit about Terry Pratchett, and I was just thinking to myself, Terry Pratchett and his books were actually incredibly important to me. I was thinking back to not only just discovering him, but really falling in love with him, like how obsessed I was with the Discworld books. And then I was thinking about how heartbroken I was when he died, because I was finding pictures to go into this video, and I was just like, I feel like I kind of underestimated and undersold what a big deal he was to me, and like to the point where I've reread his books more than any others. I don't like listening to those. I like reading them. And, you know, they're the only set of books that I have on Kindle as well as in paperback. I've never, ever got rid of any of my Pratchetts. And I plan to have them forever. And also, I was thinking because I took a really long time to read his last book, because I didn't want Discworld to be over. Like, it's like such a weird emotional thing when because there's like, I can't even remember how many there are, but there's something like, I feel like there's more than 40 books in that series. And obviously it's tragic when someone who writes stories for a living has like a degenerative disorder that affects his mind. Like, it was so tragic. And I think all of his fans were so sad. His death announcement was like absolutely heartbreaking, but it was so perfectly done. And yeah, so The Shepherd's Crown, which is one of the, for younger readers, it's one of the Tiffany Aching books. I just didn't read it. I couldn't bring myself to read it. And so instead I went back and I read all of the other books on my Kindle until I read that. And I just almost cried the whole way through it. I was just like, ugh. Because, I mean, I won't give any spoilers away to what happens in that book. But I don't know, it all just felt, you know, like a goodbye from Sir Terry Pratchett. Yeah, so anyway, I just jumped in here to say, yeah, he was, in terms of like reading and books, he's probably the most important person to me. And I also wanted to jump in because I was talking about the artists, and I couldn't quite remember. So Josh Kirby is who did the old one. So most of the books I have, I'm going to try and get this up on my screen. This is going to be wibbly. But so this is Josh Kirby, an amazing artist. He did the Discworld books for Sir Terry Pratchett. I mean, if you look at this, he's also, I mean, look at this. Incredible work, right? What a beautiful artist. So he did the first Discworlds, and when he died, it was taken over by Paul Kidby. And the thing with Paul Kidby is that it's a different style, very different style. So I think some of us who love the old ones, it took a bit of a while to warm up. But the thing about Paul Kidby is, I mean, firstly, his illustrations are beautiful. His art style is incredible. But I think Sir Terry basically, he was really chosen by Terry Pratchett, and Terry said that Paul captured his characters exactly the way that he saw them in his head, which I think must be such an important thing to an author. Like, if you've been writing these characters for years, you know what Vimes looks like, you know what Nanny Og looks like, you know what Vetinari looks like. So it must be like beautiful to find an artist who sees them the same way you do. So yeah, I mean, I wanted to just jump in because I am really soppy about Terry Pratchett. And I absolutely love all the Harry Potter books. I love J.K. Rowling's work, whatever you think of her, you know, her actual work. And she is important to me in that respect because I do love those books. But Terry and Discworld, I feel like those were epically important, and you know, it's a terrible loss. We still get to live in the wizarding world, but we don't really get to live in the Discworld in the same way anymore without him. So yeah, anyway, I just jumped in because, you know, just saying, there's many things in life that I'm passionate about, and the Discworld books and Mr. Wonderful Terry Pratchett are, you know, a big deal. So sitting here now, I'm looking at the books that I have on top of my shelf, and it's mainly Terry Pratchett. There's all the Harry Potters, and then I also have his Dark Materials, which first of all I tried to read that when I was younger. I didn't enjoy it, and I thought Lyra was she was so annoying. I didn't really like her, and I didn't like the way Philip Pullman constructed sentences. I wasn't keen on the way that he wrote. And then when I came back to it and read it when I was a bit older, I really loved those books, so I really like those as well. And I've got a couple of Mark Gatiss books. I got into him for a little while, and that's more kind of weird. He's got like a strange detective, and it kind of gave me a little bit of an Oscar Wilde feel, and the drawings on it are kind of Art Nouveau. It's very much up my street in that way. Favourite brand of tea? I like jasmine tea, and I have jasmine tea from the London, I think they're called the London Tea Company or the London Tea Makers or something. Comes in a really chic kind of black tin, really pretty, really beautiful. And also, oh, what are they called? I feel terrible that I can't remember their name. We've got loads of their teas. They make one, they're a UK company, London based I think, that make a tea called Cherry Black. You'd be able to find them like that, and I love Cherry Black. I have a perfume that smells like Cherry Black. But yeah, I'm not a massive tea drinker, to be honest. I'm more of a coffee drinker, and I drink decaf now as well, which is, you know, but anyway. And the older you get, the harder it is to drink anything that's fun. Okay, what else have I got? Favourite fragrance brand? Ooh, I think I have the most fragrances from 4711 Aqua Colonia, and I've got a lot of Sarah Jessica Parker's perfumes as well. I also have a lot of Lolita Lempicka, which is a kind of a discovery that I'm so happy that I found, because there's something magical about those perfumes. I don't know. I have quite a few guest perfumes as well, I think. I'm just looking now at what I can see. Yeah, I think realistically Sarah Jessica Parker and 4711 are probably the main ones. How do you manage fragrance storage? Well, I've got a few boxes that have things in. I've got 2 boxes under my wardrobes that have backup bottles and things I want to get rid of, but also things I haven't reviewed yet. And I've got things I haven't reviewed yet in my Kallax storage. And I've already talked about the display. Do you ever buy samples of decants? Yeah, all the time. I buy them all the time. I've just got a whole bunch of new ones as well. And I tend to just test them out. I normally buy them just to see if I have anything that already smells like them, or just to smell hyped up things and see what everyone's talking about, or to try and find alternatives, like affordable alternatives to. I don't normally buy them because I want to buy the perfumes, because most of them are prices that I wouldn't be willing to pay. It's quite rare that I get samples and think I really want to get a full bottle of this. Like, it rarely happens. Diptyque and Toka are one of the few brands where I've bought samples and literally come out of it being like, I need this. I actually need this in my collection, because they're both quite delicate houses. Okay. How do I store my decants? They are in lots of different storage things, little drawers. Again, they're in my Kallax unit, so some of them are special little drawers. Some of them are in little plastic containers. And to be honest, I don't keep a lot of them. Anything that I wouldn't actually consider wearing, I give away when I sell stuff on eBay. So if I sell like a perfume on eBay, or if I sell a bundle, then if I sell just one bottle or something, I'll normally chuck in one of the samples that I've got that I've tested, but I haven't, I've only used a little bit of. I'll just chuck that in when I send it. And if I do a bundle, if I have any like miniatures or bigger like decants, then I'll put those in there. So pass the love on, Do I have an everyday makeup look? Do I switch it up for special occasions? Okay, all right, we're going to have a cut here because I'm going to grab my little makeup thing. Okay. Okay, so this is my little makeup thing. So I've got a little very dirty mirror. That's like a close-up one, if you see what I mean, a magnetized one. So I keep it very simple because I've never particularly enjoyed like a really thick makeup look. I don't really like lots of makeup. I'm not sure that it particularly suits me. I'm not that keen on it. And also, the older I get, the less makeup looks kind of nice on me, if you see what I mean, when your skin gets a little bit more wrinkled, and it's not quite as firm and plump as it used to be. It just doesn't, makeup, it's harder to make it sit properly. I never want to look like I've got a painted face. Do you know what I mean? I want it to look natural. So for many, many years anyway, I've been wearing a BB cream. So this is the one that I use. It's Skin Active, this BB one from Garnier. And because it's not quite the right colour, either of these, the medium's too dark, the light is too light, so I mix them together. So I've got two of those. And then also, for if I'm at home, I've got Glossier U, so I've got the number 9, which goes under my eyes, and then the number 8 even, that's the one that's a better match for my skin, and they are the stretch concealers. They're super light, they're a bit shiny for me, which is why I really only wear them when I'm on super low key days. Like if I'm on a day where I'm not wearing eyeliner or anything, I've got the makeup fixer. I really only use that for special occasions if I've got like proper eye makeup on. I've also got the Glossier U, the Cloud Paint for my cheeks. My sister bought these for me. I asked for them, to be fair. They're really good. They're perfect for just a little bit of cheek colour, but I don't use those every day. The thing I use every day is the Garnier Skin Active, and then this is what I use underneath my eyes, the stretch concealer from Collection. You can get these, I think, in Boots. And this is a thicker texture and a kind of lighter colour, So it works really nicely under my eyes. I can blend it in. And so I've always had a very dark colour under my eyes. So yeah, this one actually works really well. So honestly, Tweezer Man, only tweezers worth bothering with. I always buy these, and as soon as they kind of get a bit tired, I get some new ones. I've had to put all this back together because it all collapsed and I was trying to show you some stuff. I've just got this for when I'm wearing my hair up because I'm starting to get a few white hairs in my eyebrows. So this is a Lottie London one. I don't even know if they still do this anymore. To be honest, it's ever so slightly too brown for me because I've got, I've got grey hair, but the bits that aren't white are a very dark brown. But I've never found one that's the right colour. So that's as close as I can get. What else have I got in here? This is what I use on the daily. This is Max Factor Masterpiece Matte Liquid Eyeliner, and it's so difficult to find a good eyeliner. I used to use the L'Oreal, what's it called? I can't remember what it's called, but there's a really famous L'Oreal one that I used to wear all the time, and it was amazing. And then they changed the formulation and absolutely butchered it, and it was ruined, and it was sticky, and it didn't last, and it was horrible. So I tried loads out, and then I fell in love with these. So I have a selection of colours. Black is obviously like a really easy one, but the charcoal and the black are the ones I wear the most. Sometimes I'll go for an espresso or navy, just if I'm feeling something that's maybe a little bit more kind of subtle, a bit more fun. But those are the best eyeliners in my humble opinion. So I'll put a bit of eyeliner on. I do a winged eyeliner, either just the corner or the whole eye, not too cat eye. I don't go too over the top. And then I use, I've got hairs in here. How embarrassing. My hair gets everywhere. This is a Revolution, an old baking powder one, and I just put that on the dried eyeliner just to stop it all coming apart. But yeah, I don't put that on my face because I don't like to look matte. I don't like to look too shiny or too matte. Both of those are like extremes are a bit much for me. Like I said, I like to be as natural as possible. This isn't very good. It's just one that I think is one of those ball ones. It's kind of fun. They're not great though, but I wanted to try it. It's kind of fun sometimes, but I've occasionally done interesting makeup looks. Same with the white one. And then I've got these high vis from Barry M. They're kind of just fun. I didn't show you the inside of the thing, did I? But these are always the kind of eyeliners that I like to use. Exactly this shape, this kind of inkwell. not too flexible, you know, quite firm. I don't like anything that's too feathery. Let's show you this one. Sorry if this is all a bit bouncy, it's on my knee at the moment. So this is the grey one, you see? That's what you want. Such an excellent eyeliner. So that's Max Factor Masterpiece Matte Liquid Eyeliners. They're the best. And then, last but not least, I like a lip stain. So I used to wear red lipstick a lot. And especially if I decide not to put too much on my eyes, because I never wear mascara. I hate taking it off and I hate putting it on, and it melts all over my face, and I've never found one that I like. And I also don't like curling my eyelashes, so I leave my eyelashes alone and I just have a bit of eyeliner. And occasionally I don't want to wear eyeliner, and in those moments I would always wear very kind of statement lips. So I'd have like, and I quite like matte ones, so it would be like trying to think, like, is it NYX NYX Bloody Mary? That's a classic, a beautiful pink toned, beautiful red lipstick. But because of the pandemic and because I'm wearing masks, I kind of changed that up, and now I'm more of a stain girl. So let's pull this out. Okay. Oh, it's all coming off now, look, but it's oh no, it's Stargazer. That's the one, lip stain pen, and I've got all the pretty much all the colours from this collection. I really, really like these. They're really good. And they're kind of water ones, so you put them on and then I'll dab them off, and I often just lick my lips and then dab them off again. Until there's a very light stain that will stay and won't rub off all over my face if I wear a mask, you know. But these ones, these are from Amazon. So I've got, there we go, they're called Bay Free, and they're different tones of lip stain. Really good, water-based, really nice colours. Just a bit of that, you know, to give a bit of colour to the lip without having loads of lipstick on. And you can see I wrote on them, because I didn't want to have to keep picking them out and working out what they were. So I've written the name of them, the number, and a bit of a kind of description of what they are. It's deep red, you know, I see what I mean. So that one's a more orange red, hence tomato, orange red. So yeah, that's generally it. And then I'll always have the other two things I like that are next to my bed. I take them in my pocket to work. So when I go to work, I take with me a lip balm, and this is a lip balm from Lush, which was a Christmas special. Kind of smells like Snow Fairy with some candy in it, some candy mint, like candy cane, that's the word I'm looking for. So I always have a lip balm. And then I also quite like this, which is a tinted lip balm from Ethique. It's called Sugar Plum, and it's just like, because I've got quite dark lips, it's just like, I'll show you. It's just quite a gentle, slightly sparkly lip colour. It's a little bit dry. It's not glossy, you know. It's not quite matte, but it's that kind of thing. So yeah, I don't normally go too far out of just changing the colour of my lips or the colour of my eyeliner. But if I've got a special occasion, then I will normally do some kind of bright or dramatic eye colour. Either I'll do like a bigger flick, you know, a bigger eye swoosh in my eyeliner, and then a very dramatic lip, or I'll do a dramatic eye and a kind of nude lip. Never the two. Never dramatic eye with dramatic lip. I don't do the two together. Same way I never wear earrings and a necklace at the same time. I always choose one or the other. So I've always got a little something something in case I want to... Woo! Where I've got some like bright colours that I can use, and I can make some cool looks out of them. And again, it will just be matched to whatever I'm wearing. If I'm wearing like a cool green dress, I'll have cool green eyes, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, that's my makeup. As you can see, it's not fussy, it's not expensive. Like, I just want simple stuff, and I just want to look like a slightly elevated version of myself. I don't want to look like I'm not myself. I don't want to look so different when I haven't got makeup on to when I have, that I don't like how I look like on the everyday, you know what I mean? And I also don't want to not look different when I really make a massive effort. I want to, you know, if I go out and I really go to town and I do like really cool eyes or something, I want that to be really unusual. I don't want that to be what I look like all the time. I want people to be like, oh damn, look at that. That, you know, that's more fun for me. That's just a personal thing. And also, I don't have time to do loads of makeup. Like, it would take me forever. Like, I just want to be wham bam, happy with it, out the door. All right, next question. How would you describe your personal style? I've been through some changes recently, in that I used to, for instance, really like vintage clothing. But I did like kind of actual vintage dresses. I liked 70s and I liked 80s and 90s. Anything that kind of has a vibe of Reality Bites. I used to love that kind of thing. I'd often just go to work, or, just go about kind of looking like I was sort of in fancy dress, because I would happily get massively overdressed all the time. And occasionally I still do. But I used to have bright red hair. So I had brown hair, very, very dark brown hair is my natural hair colour. And when I started going white, which was probably when I was in like my mid-20s, I just couldn't find a hair dye that looked like my natural colour. Like, it was completely impossible. I still never have found anything that was quite the same tone as my natural brown. So I just started dyeing it bright red, and I had bright reds and looked like a superhero for a while. So when you have bright red hair, you can kind of get away, and it's quite long as well. So I could get away with wearing almost anything, and I wouldn't look like an old lady. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would still look young. I'd still look fun, kind of funky. So I could go full Reality Bites without looking like a mum. I started dyeing my hair brown again after I was just like the lightener that's in... I always use Swarovski... not Swarovski, what it's called? Schwarzkopf, not Swarovski. I use crystals in my hair. No, Schwarzkopf are the only hair dyes I've ever bought that actually work and turn my hair the colour that it shows on the box. I've had so many problems trying hair dyes that all were supposed to be dark brown, turned my hair black. But I used to want... I think it was called Tempting Chocolate. That was the closest I ever got to my natural hair colour. So I was dyeing it that for ages. And then the pandemic rolled around. By this point, my roots were super white and I couldn't buy that hair dye. And my husband literally said to me... He was my boyfriend at the time, actually. We got married a couple of years ago. But he just said, I love, like, when you let your hair grow out a bit. He said, your hair looks like glitter. He likes the black and white. He likes the salt and pepper. And I was like, well, if I can't get it, and he likes the white, and I'm going to be either furloughed or working from home for some time. We don't know when we're going to be allowed out again. I thought now is the opportunity to grow it out to see how I feel about it. So I still had like a box of the Schwarzkopf Tempting Chocolate, and what I did was I just kind of used that almost like a low lighter so that my greys could grow out without like that horrible line, because that's always the tough part of growing it out. And so I just carried on letting it grow, and I just started to really like having that natural colour, that kind of salt and pepper grey colour. But what that meant was that when I would wear kind of vintagey clothing, I just kind of looked a bit old. There's nothing wrong with being old, but I'm not an old woman, right? I was like not even 40 at that point. So I started to change up my clothes a little bit, and I've also started to really appreciate more muted colours, less patterns, more simple things. And so I had that stage of my life where I was wearing... I've never wanted to wear black and just blend into the background. That is not my style. I would like to be noticed. I want to be myself. I want my clothes to be an expression of who I am. And so I didn't want to be dowdy. I didn't want to wear dark colours. I wanted to be bright. And now I'm a bit older, I appreciate the more subtle tones, but I like a good cut. So I like a really nice structured shirt. I am so tired of sloping shoulders. Can I have the seam of my clothes on my shoulders, please, and not halfway down my arms? Do you know the governess in what's it called, Sound of Music? I want to dress like her. I want those beautiful silky structured shirts, though, like everything's perfectly fitted, everything, like it's all kind of gathered, it's got puffy bits on the sleeve, but it still looks kind of chic and smart. That is kind of how I have developed in wanting to dress. I still have lovely patterns and I do still like that kind of thing, but I also have a lot more kind of beiges and whites, and I have far more slacks and trousers than I did. I have lots of lovely shirt dresses, and I need pockets. Just give me pockets. So I've got a lot of dresses that have pockets. I don't really want to wear loads of synthetic fabrics anymore, so I've got more cotton in my collection. Although I do quite like a bit of a soft viscose because I like the way it falls. But yeah, I don't want loads of polyester stuff anymore. I just want to be comfortable. I've no interest in wearing high heels. They're so uncomfortable. But I aim to look chic, but a little bit quirky. That's how I describe my style. And it can veer quite violently, to be honest, from really, really hyper feminine girly dresses to androgynous loose fitting but tailored trousers with a loose fitting shirt. I love a good leather jacket, and I love a suit, you know, that kind of thing. Oof, I could talk about that for ages. I'm obsessed with clothes as well as perfumes. Okay, next question. You guys knew I would talk for ages, didn't you? I mean, surely I love chatting away. Oh, okay, someone's asked me about my tattoo. I've got quite a few tattoos, but it says, I've also been interested in the coloured dots on your arm. Is this a tattoo? Would you mind sharing the meaning behind it? So all I'm going to say about this is, yes, it is a tattoo, and actually the white is now so pale you can hardly see it, but I'm just going to say it's RGB, CMYK and grayscale, and I'm going to leave it at that, and if you know, you know. I've got quite a few tattoos, but again, if I tell you too much about them, you'll probably be able to work out what my job is and possibly even where I work. So I'm not going to show you all the rest of my tats. I've got one on my hand, but that's like a family thing. So love to know my top perfumes. Well, I'm not going to go over them now because I'm going to make a video of my updated top 20 for life. I will be doing that quite soon. I've already made the list. I'd love to know a few of your weird oddball perfumes or scents that are ever changing in their development. Perfumes that are more of an experience rather than just something nice to wear. Oh, that's interesting. The thing that's jumping to my mind is Covet by Sarah Jessica Parker, because that is a perfume that I think is quite complex and not the easiest to wear. But I think that's kind of what I like about it, is that occasionally I might get the urge and it's weird. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, but I do think it's weird because it's a chocolate perfume, but it's also a lemon perfume. So it's not unusual, obviously, to get like a woody chocolate, which it also is woody. And it's not unusual, for instance, to have like lemon and honeysuckle, but to have lemon and honeysuckle and like a muskiness and a teak wood and then a very obvious dark chocolate is a strange concoction, and I think it's very beautiful, but it's not easy to wear for me personally because I have to be in such a specific mood, and it's also very sweet, so I really have to be in the mood for that one. And actually, equally, Stash, I love that, and I don't find it hard to wear, but I have to wear it in the cold weather. But it is an experience for me because I already knew that I loved it, but then last year, was it last year? Don't think it was the year before. I think it might have been last year, but to be honest, I've lost track of time. This could be the year before. I've just realised that it reminded me of Christmas trees, and it reminded me of Christmas because there is a kind of resinous piney scent in there, but there's also a honeyed, gingery, beautiful, kind of slightly smoky, woody scent. And I said at the time, it's like being in a log cabin next to a Christmas tree and an open fire and nibbling on pistachios and drinking some kind of ginger and honey, like hot toddy or something. Like that's the vibe that gives me. So that does really feel like an experience to wear it, and I absolutely love it. I'm just having a look at what else I've got. And of course, the queen of 80s perfumes, Dior Poison. I mean, talk about an experience. You start off with that. The modern version anyway, you start off with it and it smells almost like cigarettes, and it's smoky and it's weird and it's so pungent and strong. It smells like, fully smells like a witch would wear it. And then it dries down and it gets all this bubblegummy tuberose, and then you get this delicious syrupy plum and honey, and you've got all these spices, and it goes through a real transition, and it's just so beautiful. I have now a vintage version of that. I passed on my modern bottom because I have the vintage eau de toilette, but I also have a dupe from what's it called? Saffron London, which is called, is it Jungle Cobra? I might have that wrong. It might just be called Cobra, actually. And I love that one because it's not as smoky and it's much thinner and lighter, but it still has the things that I love from Poison. So it's like a wearable version. So I can do the hardcore version in winter when I'm in the mood, or I can do the light version, which is my dupe. And that one's plum, honey, spices, and tuberose, and it's not got quite so much of the darkness and the smoky madness that you get in the real Poison. And obviously it's not as much as the Beast. How did you get heavy into perfumes in the first place? This is and you know, this is actually crazy because I've always wanted to smell good. I've always wanted to have like a smell, like, but I always had signature scents really, and then just a few that I'd wear on special occasions. And I never really understood people having loads of perfumes when I was younger. I was like, why would you want to smell different every day? Wouldn't you want people to recognise your scent? And then I don't know, something happened. It was really because my signature scent got discontinued, and I'd continued to search for a signature scent, and I hadn't found anything that I was as comfortable in, like, all year round. So I just automatically therefore had more perfumes because I'd have things that I was like, well, this is the one I'll wear to work, but maybe I want something else for evenings or weekends, and maybe I'm going to try a few more, and I'd try a few more, and if I liked them I'd keep them. And then I just started watching YouTube, basically. I just think I was searching. Knowing me, I would have been searching for a review of something specific that I was interested in, and I would have found someone talking about it, and I would have been like, okay, interesting. I'll go and smell that in store. And that was one of my first discoveries of smelling something in store that didn't smell anything like what I thought the person was describing it as. And sort of starting to understand that I had quite a different nose to some of the reviewers who are popular on YouTube, and that I was more fussy and I was more sensitive. So I don't know, I just sort of started to try more stuff. And then I discovered some websites where you could get stuff for super cheap, like direct cosmetics. So I was just like buying some hauls and trying stuff out. And then, like I said, I discovered Ruth Ann's channel, and I just kind of wanted to make similar videos to her, but with stuff that you could buy in the UK. So yeah, and then obviously it snowballs. Once you start making videos like this, it just if people are interested in them, they want to watch them, and they're interested in learning about the perfumes at the same time that you are, then you just buy more, and then it just gets, I mean, let's be real, can get super out of hand, which it sort of has. So that's why I have to do quite a lot of declutters, and I sell stuff on eBay all the time, because the problem with affordable perfumes is they're so difficult now to smell in store. Like, we don't really have loads of shops in the UK that sell anything that's like under 40 quid. They tend to be all the designer ranges that you get in like John Lewis and places like that. You do have some places where you can buy things like Monothem. So Marks and Spencer's, for instance, sell Monothem, but they're 25 quid. And you can get them on Makeup UK for under £10. So sometimes I will maybe go in there and smell them and then I'll order them, but yeah, I was blind buying quite a lot of stuff. I try not to do quite so much of that now, but there's certain things that you just can't smell anywhere else. So if they're cheap, I'll just take the chance. But yeah, so I realised I was not as fussy as I thought. I realised I liked more than I realised that I ever thought I would. And so it's so fun now to have a different scent every day, and I'm not wearing it for other people at all, Now I'm just entertaining myself and thinking of it more the way that I think about when I dress. I don't wear the same outfit every day. I always change up my style or what I'm wearing on each day, depending on mood, weather, all the rest of it. And it's super fun to be able to do the same with my perfume and to match my perfume to what I'm wearing and how I'm feeling and what the weather's doing. And yeah, that just makes it super, super fun. Do you carry a perfume in your purse? Yes, I do. I always take whatever I'm wearing with me. If it's a small bottle and it's manageable, I'll chuck that in my bag. I don't have a purse. I always have massive bags. I have to be on the tube quite a lot, and it's the UK, so here is something about the UK that I'm sure a lot of people will recognise. I always have to have an umbrella, but I always also have to have sunglasses, and I also have a hand fan and a bottle of water. So if you add in then like general stuff that I always have with me, tissues and, well, let's be real, tampons and all the kind of stuff that ladies normally have. I've also got a little moisturiser, a little deodorant, all these kind of things in a little makeup bag thing. And then I've got all my work stuff, and I've got my wallet, and I've got my travel cards and all this stuff. So I have a decent size backpack. I've got loads of them actually. I've got another thing I kind of collected because I don't know if they make them anymore. Really cool Adidas ones that I kind of love that have like a metallic mesh on the front. I don't know how to describe it, but they're brilliant. The best backpacks I've ever had because they're quite tall, but they're quite flat. Like you can fit a laptop in there. So yeah, it's easy to put a bottle of perfume in there, but I'll decant it. I'll decant them into little small sprayers, or sometimes I will actually purchase a travel size if it's one I really love and I think I'll get through, and I'll just take those to work. But I always take them to work. I'll reapply them through the day, but only if they're things that need to be reapplied. So for instance, if I wear Stash to work, then I might take a tiny little spray bottle of that, but I'm maybe gonna put that on like right at the end of the day before I leave work, because I'm not going to need to put it on. Same with things like Still from Jennifer Lopez. I don't need to respray that one all the time. But if I'm going to wear something that's lighter, if I'm going to wear green tea Elizabeth Arden, I'll take the little bottle I have of that. I have a big bottle and a little one, so I'll take my small bottle with me to work, and I'll just keep respraying that all day, as much as I fancy. I have my own space. I don't share it with anyone else, so easy to do and not offending anyone. How do you think perfume enhances your life, and how would life be without having perfume at all? It makes me feel... special isn't the word I'm looking for. It gives me another layer of excitement when I'm getting ready to go to work in the morning. And I love enjoying how I smell. I like to think I smell nice to other people, but it is mainly about me enjoying my own scent, which is why I'm so happy to declutter stuff if I just realise I don't love it, or if it doesn't suit me, or if there's something in it that irritates me. Because I want to get a whiff of myself and be like, oh, you smell good today. Because I love smelling other people if they smell good too. And like I walked past a guy the other day who literally smelled like he'd just got out of the shower and had used like a slightly fruity, fresh shower gel. And I walk past people and I'm like, you smell incredible. Do you have a specific perfume that you either smelled on someone else or had before that you really liked until it was associated with something bad? I've had a few perfumes that I've got ill when I was wearing them, and I haven't wanted to wear them again. I have one at the moment that's I think it's called Water Ivy by Brocard, which I took the sample away for my honeymoon, and I really enjoyed it, and I thought it was really pretty. But then the last time I actually properly wore it after I got a bottle, I was quite sick that day. I got a bit of a headache, and I think I might have actually been sick, and I don't think I'm ever going to be able to wear that perfume again. Like, it's so locked into my head. Yeah, I avoided Ralph by Ralph Lauren for a long time because someone I knew at university who turned out to be a bit of a unpleasant person wore that. But again, like, I had that perfume before she'd started wearing it, so although it was her signature scent and I avoided it for a while, it was never like entirely her. But I guess just the fact I bring it up means I do still think about her sometimes when I smell that perfume. So yeah, maybe that one. And the last question on here is, do you know and like any blueberry scents? The only blueberry perfume that I have that I've been able to even slightly wear is Blueberry by Demeter. And that one, to be honest, smells like blueberry muffins. That's one, if you watched the one with me and my husband recently, he's just sickened by the fact that smells like muffins. He really doesn't like things that really smell like literal food. So yeah, that one I have. I do really like the smell, even though there's not blueberry in it. It smells like blueberries. The Britney Spears Midnight Fantasy, except the shampooey quality of all of the fantasy perfumes make them impossible for me to wear. But I actually was thinking recently, I noticed you can get a body spray version of Midnight Fantasy. So I'm thinking I might try that one to see if that is going to work for me. And it might be that if it's lighter or it's not in perfume formulation, then maybe it's not going to be so like screechy and shampooey to me, because I love that general scent profile. I wish I could find that in a non-fantasy range version. Every other blueberry perfume I've smelt doesn't really smell of blueberries, or it doesn't last smelling like blueberries. Actually, one of the nicest ones I've smelt is Me by Lonvin, except I couldn't wear that because it has a woodiness in it that turns into a kind of cigarette ash smell on me. I don't know if everyone else gets that from it. I think some people just get a nice smoky vibe, but it was very specifically a cigarette ash smell that I get from that perfume. But the blueberry note in it is like almost like a blueberry jam or something, and that is really, really pretty. The blueberry at the top of the Petite Robe Noir Intense is beautiful, but that goes away. The blueberry at the top of the Fenty perfume is beautiful, but that doesn't last either. So yeah, I'm yet to find the perfect blueberry scent. So the last question I'm going to have in this video is one that I'm asking myself. I was kind of hoping someone would ask me this, but it didn't actually come up. But I've been on YouTube for a few years. I've been making stuff, like I said, that's kind of for myself, stuff that I'd want to watch. And it took me a fair while to get to, it took me a long time to get to 1,000. It's taken me, because of the way the algorithm works on YouTube, it's taken me a smaller amount of time to get to 2,000, right? So there's just a few people that I really enjoy watching on YouTube. I really like their videos, and they're not up to 1,000 subscribers yet. So I just wanted to shout out a few people that I really enjoy watching. So first up, I really like Heart Notes. I'll put the information up on the screen. She does a lot of affordable perfumes. She doesn't really look too much. She doesn't seem very interested in niche. I love listening to her talk. She's got a fabulous accent. I think she lives in London, but or in the UK at least. So it's stuff that's quite good for UK peeps to get. She buys things from really affordable places. She's got a lot of celebrity perfumes. She does really good videos. Yeah, so I really, really enjoy Heart Notes. So she's worth checking out if you guys are interested. I'm sure loads of the people who follow me already follow Heart Notes. I also really like My Perfume Map, and how to explain, I feel like My Perfume Map is a channel that in a way reminds me of Ruth Ann McKinnon, but with much longer videos. It's much more in depth, and what's really fun about My Perfume Map is that it's videos that are like quite unusual. They're kind of themed a lot of the time, but they're not themed just around notes necessarily. They're about how she wears perfumes, how she buys perfumes. I really love the videos that are hauls that she's bought, like from I can't really remember what they're called in the UK, but like from, like, I don't know, if a UK example like the Red Cross or something. She'll just buy a bundle of random perfumes but that have been all put up for an auction, and it's really fun to see what she gets in the auction. So massively recommend My Perfume Map. It's a really, really good channel to follow. And then the last one is one that I love, Pretty in Perfume. Pretty in Perfume is a channel that I find so soothing. Now, the lady who does this channel, I really love her voice. So I know that some people have commented on my videos and my channel saying that they like my voice. Some people like my accent, but I think some people just like my voice. So I'm really fussy about who I watch on YouTube, in that if I don't necessarily like the delivery or I don't like someone's voice, I find it much more difficult to listen to the videos. But Pretty in Perfume has the most soothing, calming, beautiful voice, such a wonderful delivery. She talks about perfumes in a very honest way. She's got like a real mixture of styles. She's got a wide taste. And a lot of very affordable stuff. There's stuff I think that's probably like a tenner. but she really likes Toka, for instance, and they're obviously much more expensive. So yeah, I mean, I really, really would love to see those channels get more viewers, and to, I mean, let's be real, like once you get to 1,000, they will start then getting ad revenue for all of the ads that YouTube puts on their videos, because you can't get any of that until you have 1,000 subscribers. And then once you've got that, and once you are part of the affiliate program with YouTube, they then start showing you in searches in a way that they never used to. So yeah, those are the three channels that I'm really, really enjoying, who I think need some extra love. So if you guys enjoy my channel, those are my recommendations. Obviously, you know the other channels that I love. But yeah, so that's the last question from me anyway. Okay guys, I think that is it. I've been talking for ages. Thank you so much for all your questions. I know I probably talked for a really long time, but I hope that this was entertaining to you. And again, thank you so much for subscribing. You guys are awesome, and I love talking to you. I only really have the time, maybe once or twice a week, to actually come on and answer questions or respond to comments, but I always try to as much as I can, and as often as I can. Thank you again, and yeah, I'll see you with one of my normal videos soon. Bye guys!